Hello my lovelies and welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing something a little bit different, a little bit fun. I was going to say light-hearted and unserious, but I do actually feel like some of these topics are a little bit more on the serious side. Either way, as you will have seen from the title, the topic is going to be fashion propaganda that I am not falling for. And if you have not seen this trend on social media, I did not come up with this concept on my own. I am following a trend here, and I have seen this trend all over TikTok and Instagram over the summer. If you are not aware of this trend, just a quick little recap of what it is. The trend is surrounding propaganda I am not falling for. So people will post typically just a short video with some text on it, just listing all the things that they are not personally falling for. And I've seen it for any topic, any niche. It can be products that are really popular that people are just not really buying into. It can be social convention, it can be opinions that are really popular. What I am going to be talking about today might ruffle some feathers, might be a little bit unpopular, and if there is one thing I have personally learned from this trend, it's that it's very difficult to find someone you agree with 100% on everything. Either way, let's get into the fashion propaganda I am not falling for. Please remember that if you deeply disagree with anything I say, an option is always to take a deep breath and remember that I am just some random person on the internet. Everything is fine. That being said, I'd love to hear if you agree or disagree with any of these. And the first thing on my list of fashion propaganda I am not falling for is high-grade polyester. Okay, let me explain. It's not that I don't believe it exists, because any material can be made poorly or in a higher quality. So it's not that I am suggesting there is no such thing as higher grade and lower grade polyester. I fully know there is. Any material can be made to have more structure, be longer lasting. You can use thicker thread, you can have it more tightly woven. There are so many things you can do to make a piece of fabric a more high quality. For me, the problem lies in the implication of saying something is high grade polyester, because it's suggesting that it's a little bit better than polyester really is, in a way that it isn't. The issues that polyester has are still there. It's still plastic, it still releases microplastic into the ocean, it's still not breathable. And don't get me wrong, I know there are uses for polyester, but the way that it has been overproduced compared to other, especially natural materials, is absolutely obscene. It's a much more cost-effective way to produce clothes than using, for example, linen. I have personally seen clothing tags that say 100% high-grade polyester, and I've never seen a clothing tag say 100% high-grade linen. The description online for the product might say it's eco-certified or it's high quality linen, but you don't see it on the actual tag. They're trying so hard to make polyester seem like it's not, and I think that is the issue I have with it. One such case has been quite popular on social media recently. We're not going to go too much into it, but if you are aware of the brand Odd Muse, which is very popular on social media, they have very cute styles. They are one of these brands using high-grade polyester, and they're still not exactly the most affordable clothes. And although I understand producing clothes is extremely expensive, if you made the math of this business work by using polyester, I think you need to accept that your clothes are polyester, they are plastic, they are flammable, and not to try to pretend like you're that different from other companies using polyester because your fabric is simply a little bit more high quality, because it's still plastic. I think we have talked through this rant. Let me know if you agree, because it's a little bit deceiving. I think that is my main issue with it. They're trying to deceive consumers into thinking, oh, is there such a thing as high-grade polyester? Well, that's fine then, when they are initially opposed to using polyester, perhaps. The next thing I am not falling for, and honestly, I couldn't even if I tried, the Labubu craze? What is this? What is happening? Am I too old? Am I just too uncool? What is happening? I understand that bag charms have been popular for a while, but the Labubu thing, first of all, they're really creepy. I would struggle to sleep with having one of those in my room because they're creepy. And secondly, they're huge. They look so strange. I've never seen a handbag that looks better by adding a Labubu. I understand that bag charms can be quite cool and can add personality to a handbag, but the Labubu thing, the little toy has become such a craze and such a symbol, I think, that you don't see anything but the Labubu when you see a handbag. I obviously don't. It's so strange. And honestly, can someone please explain to me what the deal is with these? Because I think they're kind of ugly. I don't get it at all. And I'm really not into this Labubu game at all. I understand they're so popular that fakes are being made of them. And from what I understand, you're buying blind boxes and hoping to get something you like, which seems highly stressful and not something I would subject myself to. But it's making me feel like it's not even about the product anymore, it's about the consumerism and the slight gambling tendencies behind it, because you're getting this rush of hoping you get something really good. Because from my understanding, some of them are worth a lot and some are not. So you're really buying sort of a lottery ticket to hopefully get something worth more than what you paid. I am confused by the whole thing. I'm not falling for it at all, and it's not something I have even considered a little bit adding. If someone could enlighten me about what makes them so great, I would love to know. And if I really offended you, I'm so sorry. It's probably just because I'm too uncool to get it, probably. The next thing I am not falling for is that a clothing piece or an outfit, particularly, has to be flattering above all. That is the main thing, the main job of an outfit. And I understand if this can be a little bit confusing, because I have very often talked about my own clothing pieces, my own outfits, as to whether they are flattering or not. So I understand it plays a part in how we get dressed and whether we are deciding to wear something or not. However, what I'm just rejecting completely is the idea that I can't add outfits or appreciate outfits that aren't flattering. So maybe I choose to wear something even though it doesn't necessarily flatter my body. Maybe it makes me look shorter or wider or whatever, like a troll. Who cares? If it makes me feel good, if it makes me feel cool, if it gives me confidence, if I feel like it's expressing a part of my personality that I want that particular day, I think that is taking priority over something being flattering. I've very often been told by people both online and offline that I shouldn't wear something because that's not flattering. I should stay away from XYZ because it's just not flattering on me. And I kind of reject it. It's especially something I've noticed in the past few years. I'm playing around with it. I'm still feeling like I'm a little bit at the beginning of it, where I'm adding clothing pieces or accessories that kind of are intentionally unflattering. They're leaning into being strange or even ugly at times. This especially for ugly shoes, which I absolutely love, kind of ugly sunglasses that are just a bit more weird rather than really flattering. I am absolutely loving these additions to my style, to just have something that feels like it has more personality rather than just the main thing it has to be is flattering. I don't know if this is very hypocritical, because obviously I talk about clothes and whether I think they're flattering on me, and I have absolutely gotten rid of pieces that I felt were unflattering on me, but that is also because they didn't serve any other purpose. It's important, but it's definitely not above everything else. Okay, so a lot of the points on this list are around fabrics, and one issue I have specifically, and I feel like this is going to not go over well, I really struggle with the demonizing of fabrics. And I understand I just did that with polyester. I understand. If you did hear me, I did also say that polyester has a specific use. Now, my issue is rather that people sort of paint it black and white when it comes to whether a fabric or a material is good or not. And the fact is that for most materials that we have, there is an environmental impact and something negative about it. Cotton takes a lot of water to produce and lots of other things, pesticides when it's grown, and many things about cotton can be kind of skewed into thinking that, oh, that's a damaging material, I shouldn't be wearing it. And I see so many people wanting to shy away from fabrics because there is one bad thing about it that someone has told them, and it makes people kind of equate it into, oh, that is bad, I might as well wear polyester. So it's that losing of perspective, and I'm going to go into something that I know is really a hot topic at the moment, and I'm going to say viscose. When I talk about viscose, people have the most visceral reactions because viscose is, let's be real, they're quite problematic. There are many issues with viscose. But the way some people talk about viscose or any other material makes it sound like it's just as bad as full-on synthetics. Viscose is one undergroup of a material called rayon. Rayon is a group of materials that are technically called semi-synthetics, which I'm also thinking is not the best idea to call them. But these materials are made from regenerated cellulose. It can be wood pulp, it can be bamboo, it can be lots of different things really. And I think one reason why so many people have a strong reaction to it is that it was sold to us as a very sustainable, like it's trees, it's bamboo, it's wonderful. This is very sustainable. Bamboo grows really quickly. Choose this. And then they left out the fact that the process of creating fabric from that cellulose is really damaging to the environment. You have other types like tencel, which has a closed loop of chemicals, so it doesn't leak into the environment, which makes it much more environmentally friendly. And again, same as I talked about the polyester, you have varying degrees of quality when it comes to these materials. But my main point is just that so many people hang on to one specific part of a material being bad to the point where it's demonized. And it happens with polyester as well, it happens with everything. It's just quite frustrating when people do it to materials that are a step in the right direction. So anything rayon, people will say is horrific and it's semi-synthetic, and to the point where people almost feel like they might as well go with polyester. And I think that is a shame. And I feel like right now I just need to say that I do obviously prefer natural materials. Linen is my favorite material. I love wool. I love cashmere. I love silk. I think these are much better materials, but silk as well, lots of issues. Cotton, lots of issues. Wool, cashmere, they all have problems with them. So it's just about having that well-rounded perspective on it, I think. Okay, well, let's take a break from materials for a second and get on to shaming people from outfit repeating. Hate this. Absolutely hate it. I am not falling for it. Outfit repeating is one of the best and most sustainable things you can do. When you happen upon a great outfit, why would you not want to repeat it? It's like making a dish that is amazing and saying, well, that's that, and never making that again. It's so incredibly silly, and it really frustrates me when people are sort of, I've had this as well, like, didn't you wear that jumper twice already this week? And I have a washing machine. And I know some people as well will not repeat outfits they have taken photos in. They will be very careful with not repeat wearing even the same items around people they have already worn that around. It is so silly, and I think that it's not all in their head because people have commented on it to me, so I know it's not just in our head. People do notice, but I think it's important to just point out, I love my clothes, I'm going to repeat wear them. When I put together an outfit I love, I think it's a waste to only wear it once. All right, that's a quick one out of the way. Next thing I'm not falling for, and this I might be the most nervous to talk about this, but I want to call it kind of any prescriptive styling. And before I get into this, I want to hedge my opinion by saying that I know this has been incredibly helpful for very many people. I'm very happy for anyone it has helped. However, things like the Kibi body type system, color seasons, I know. The fact is, yes, some things are always going to look better on you than other things. That's just true. However, I think what we believe looks good on someone is actually a little bit more subjective than these systems want to give it credit for. And just personally, I think my issue with it is not that people use it. I've even recommended it to people as a place to sort of start if you don't know where to start at all, if you're just a little bit lost, you want to get sort of upgrade your style, you don't know what looks good on you. I think it can be a good place to start. But I've had so many people tell me that you shouldn't wear XYZ because you're a ABC body type. Like, they can't agree on what body type I am. And I'm told you shouldn't wear that neckline, you shouldn't wear that cut, you shouldn't have that silhouette, you shouldn't have that draping, you should have those kinds of seams. And it's feeling more restrictive to me. Sometimes I do go wrong, but I just personally tend to have a feeling when I look at something, do I feel better or worse when I have this piece on me? And I think there are many ways to work out an outfit that feels balanced and is a good silhouette on any given person. But the same goes for the color seasons. I have had people type me as both a winter, spring, summer, and an autumn, and different sort of like the soft and intense and whatever they're called. Sorry if that is offensive. Again, I think they can be very helpful, and I understand that so many people have said that they have been very helpful to them. But again, I've had so many people tell me you should stay away from that color, you should stick to those colors, you should get rid of all those clothes because they're in the wrong color. People seem to be really, really certain that I am this one specific body type or this one specific color season, but they can't agree. So to me, it seems really, really overly subjective. And again, sometimes I do go wrong. I choose colors that wash me out a little bit, and I learn from that. I do have colors I tend to stick with more, but for me, having that prescriptive style is more at this point in my style evolution anyways, it feels more limiting than it does freeing. And I think that is probably where the difference lies. For some people, it's really freeing to be able to say, all of those pieces I'm not choosing because they're the wrong colors for me, and just knowing what is going to work a little bit better. Whereas I love clothes, and I think it's really, I'm just curious when I try them on. I try not to limit myself too much because I have in the past. And as I mentioned, I just think it's way more subjective than some people may give it credit for. And I see this so often online as well when people say, here I am in my colors, here I'm not in my colors, and people can't agree what looks better. Same goes for hair color. I think it's just a little bit more subjective than those systems may allow for, perhaps. Okay, that one out of the way, let's move on swiftly. Please let me not have offended too many people with that. And the next thing I want to talk about is vegan leather. This one annoys me a lot. This one has annoyed me for years. I am not falling for this, okay? Stop it. Just stop it. Most vegan leather is not, in fact, vegan. I suppose I should say that is my opinion, that they shouldn't even be allowed to call themselves vegan. They may technically be non-animal derived. However, they're just synthetic leather. That used to be called pleather. It used to be called faux leather. And now they have sort of greenwashed it into it's vegan, it's better for the planet, it's wonderful, it's no animal harm. And I don't think we can say that plastic that doesn't actually break down for 100 years is causing no harm to animals. And I do think that it's just really, really misleading marketing. Don't get me wrong, I actually do really appreciate the truly vegan leather alternatives. I have seen this wonderful company on TikTok that is a little new handbag company. I think she has one handbag style for now and it comes in two colors. And she has created this actually vegan leather alternative, which isn't sort of blended with a lot of plastic. I think it's called Loué Studio. I'll link it. I think it's really, really cool. But mostly, even when brands are trying to create these alternatives, a lot of them have 30% plastic in them, which then sort of slightly defeats the purpose. However, I'm really positive to all of these companies trying to create leather alternatives from mushrooms. I've seen it from pineapple. What else do we have? Like, there are coming more and more alternatives, which are really, really cool and interesting, and I applaud them. And I personally feel like the vegan leather label should be reserved for those brands because it really annoys me when they have something that even 10 years ago would have just been called faux leather. And I've actually met people who didn't quite understand that vegan leather wasn't actually real leather. So it's just misleading on all levels. Now, the next thing I'm not falling for is the fact that expensive equals good quality. I think, unfortunately, most of us have experienced at some point or another that something was really expensive and then really poor quality. Not what we want to see. And it's just a fact that sometimes the price is not the way it is because something was made really high quality, but rather because they can get away with it. The marketing was right, the branding was right, people are paying for brand or labels, and essentially if people will pay it, they will charge it. And I think it's a shame because personally I believe that when people do that, they think, I'm going to buy something high quality. This one brand everyone is talking about, it's really expensive, but I want something high quality, so I'll treat myself and finally get something that is going to last. And then it doesn't. I think it really puts people off of trying to invest more in clothes. And I'm not here to sort of get people to pay a ton of money for clothes, but equally, it's just true that creating something of high quality is going to take time, and time is the most expensive thing along with high quality materials. So it's obviously difficult to find something that is more high quality on a budget. But I just think it's so sad that people have kind of lost the knowledge of what makes something high quality, so they can't tell when they go into a shop anymore. And that way, the expensive brands get away with selling really low quality clothes. It's very, very annoying, and I think it's such a shame because we should hold these brands to a much, much higher standard. Ultimately, I have definitely bought both expensive and inexpensive clothes that are high quality and that are poor quality. But the thinking that just because you spent a lot on something, it's going to be high quality is simply not true. Under the same umbrella, I think we have the just because you spent a lot of money on something, it's going to withstand anything. I just have to laugh when people have spent a lot of money on a silk dress and then they think that that means they can go through the apocalypse with it and it's still going to look the same. It's not how it works, unfortunately. Money does not guarantee quality, and a quality product doesn't mean it can be used for absolutely anything ever. And the final thing I want to talk about is the selling of trends as a timeless classic. I see this a lot. I see it mostly on TikTok. I think that is the place where it's the most rampant, especially from like ultra fast fashion retailers, because we have so many micro trends that are trending for a week or two. It's absolutely mad. We have these pieces that as soon as they have been popular for 2 months, people rebrand them as this is a timeless classic, and the item might be a peplum blazer. Like, it's just not a timeless classic. It's not something you would have seen people wear 50 years ago, and it's not something you're probably going to see people wear in 50 years as well. I think the timeless classic has been overused. I might be a little bit guilty of this myself, because I really am trying to direct my focus to creating something that feels, if it's not timeless, it's at least going to be looking timeless for the next 5 years. I think it's wildly overused, and I think the blazer is a fantastic example of this, because a blazer in general is touted as a classic wardrobe piece. And I think it's a really good example because today we are moving towards the more fitted, hourglassy style blazers again. And I remember when the very oversized blazers became popular a few years ago, I said, I will join this trend, but I will hang on to my more fitted blazers. And while they now feel more on trend or current to wear, they still don't exactly match the trend picture. Because the blazer of 2017 is definitely not the same blazer as of 2025, despite them both having more of a fitted silhouette. So although I really champion timeless classic wardrobe staples, I think it's important to be realistic with how timeless it's possible to get something. And also just being a little bit more aware of the trends can help you decipher whether something is very influenced by a trend or leaning a little bit more timeless, and sometimes that can feel like a little bit more boring, a little bit more anti-trendy maybe. But in particular, I am not falling for labeling trends as timeless, because even though they can feel timeless in the moment, it's only because we have so many micro trends that something that is lasting for half a year feels suddenly like a lifetime, which is very sad and a different topic on its own. Anyways, I think that is going to be the end of the video today. As I was going through this list, I also came across quite a few of these like fashion propaganda things that I definitely am falling for. Would that be an interesting different take on this video or not? Please do let me know. And I'd love to hear what fashion propaganda you are not falling for as well. If you agree or disagree with any of these, please do let me know. I love to have a healthy discussion. And if you're not subscribed yet, please consider doing so and let me know what kind of videos you want to see next. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you very shortly in the next video. Maybe one of these. Bye!